Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. Now, there are a number of teams that were absent in this match week, but still the football continued and there were a lot of games played, 7 to be precise. So let's begin with the first game. So the first game was Arsenal versus Crystal Palace, which concluded to 4-1. Now, Arsenal were in cruise control after another win on the board. Saka gets a double. Not a bad day in the office for him. And he ends up finishing his afternoon FaceTime in the Kardashians. So that's the life of a star boy, I guess, there. But it didn't start off as straightforward for Arsenal, to be fair. Wilfried Zaha was very close to taking the lead for Crystal Palace. He had a great run on the left wing, cuts it in and takes a shot. But his shot hits the post, and almost ricocheted off the keeper into the net, but it went out of play. So unlucky effort for Zaha there. Martinelli opens the score line for Arsenal with a great left-footed finish. And then Saka calmly slots one for the second. And then Xhaka gets the third goal from close range. Schlupp gets the consolation for Crystal Palace, but it was Saka who puts the game to bed with his second goal of the game. So Arsenal are now 8 points clear. 10 more games to go, Arsenal fans. The title is getting closer and closer. Now, Crystal Palace, on the other hand, what a terrible week they've had. Losing to rival Brighton, then sacking their manager, Patrick Vieira, which for me was unjustified, as I think Palace had a tough run of games recently, and it wasn't like they got thrashed 5-0 every game. They were quite close encounters. Me personally, I think he should have been given more time to fix things at Palace. Now, the breaking news this morning was that they've appointed, or reappointed, I should say, Roy Hodgson until end of the season. My thoughts on the appointment, I think it's a bad decision from the club. They were moving forward with Vieira. They were playing a different brand of football, exciting players coming through. But now I believe they've taken 5 steps back, rehiring Hodgson. I realize it's a short-term appointment, but it goes to show there was no strategy in place with the second of Vieira. They didn't have anyone in place. So it was more of an impulse decision, which I'm afraid could be costly. Now, me personally, I don't want to see Crystal Palace get relegated, as I'm from South London. So it is the local team from where I live. So slightly biased there. And I would like to see them stay up. But honestly, I do fear for them. I really do. It's a poor appointment, like I said. I think they're putting all their eggs in one basket, hoping Roy Hodgson can rescue the club. It's a big, big ask, to say the least. But let's see how things unfold. The remaining fixtures until the end of the season, for me, are quite friendly for Crystal Palace, considering what they've faced in the last few weeks. They play Leicester at home, Leeds away, Southampton away, Everton at home, Wolves away, West Ham at home, Spurs away, Bournemouth at home, Fulham away, and Nottingham Forest at home. So out of all of the fixtures that I've mentioned, Spurs is the one that stands out, as it will be a tough encounter. But all the other games are winnable. There's points that are up for grabs. Me personally, I don't think Hodgson is the man to take them past the line. I hope I'm wrong for Crystal Palace's sake. But yeah, let's see how their season unravels from there. Next game, Chelsea versus Everton. So for me, a surprising result. I thought Chelsea would have got the home win there. Everton did fantastic to get a point from the game. That point could prove very useful for Everton to avoid the drop. João Felix opens the scoreline with a great left-footed finish. It pretty much hit the post and in there. Got a question for Chelsea fans. Do you see João Felix, or Felix as he likes to be called, signing on a permanent deal? Has his performances warranted his position to stay at the club? Now, if you ask me, I personally don't think he's been consistent enough to say he's a player that's going to take Chelsea forward. But Chelsea fans, let me know what your thoughts are on that question. Back to the game. Doucouré gets the equaliser for Everton. He climbs up, nods the header from a corner, 1-1. Chelsea are then awarded with a penalty after Reece James was fouled by not one but two players as he ran through the wing. And then you had Havertz stepping up, scores with ease, smashing in the centre of the box. But it was an unexpected player to clinch the equaliser for Everton. It was the player in the name of Ellis Sims, who hasn't played much this season, comes off the bench and scores the crucial goal coming from the left wing in the 89th minute. That goal felt like a winner for Everton fans, and that result puts them in 15th place with 26 points. Now, if they can get some points on the board, they can slowly walk out of the relegation battle, in my opinion. Chelsea, on the other hand, would feel disappointed not to get the 3 points. They're still in 10th place, 1 point behind their rivals Fulham. So, a bit of bragging rights from Fulham fans there. Next game, Southampton versus Spurs. So, this one was fireworks after the game, more so than during the game. Conte's post-match interview was the highlight. He certainly got a few things off his chest. And boy, he wasn't messing around. But for me, the nail has hit the coffin now. There is no way he survives at that club after that huge rant, pretty much insulting every corner of the club. So I expect to hear an announcement of him being sacked sooner rather than later. The match itself, there were some pretty decent finishes to say the least. The first goal for Spurs, fantastic goal from their January signing, Poro. He smashed it in onto the crossbar. Nothing the keeper could do there with that shot there. Adams gets the equaliser for Southampton from close range. Kane gets a second for Spurs with a header. Perisic gets the third with a nice, great volley finish there. So at this stage, we're all thinking 3-1. Spurs have got the win in the bag, right?
Wrong.
As some would say, the result was very Spursy. The forgotten man for Southampton, in my eyes, because I literally thought this guy retired. Theo Walcott gets the second goal for Southampton with a left foot finish from the 6-yard box. An ex-gunner, so obviously you know he enjoyed that moment there. And the equaliser, a penalty for Southampton. I can't lie, I think it's a soft one. So Spurs were unlucky with that decision. But Mr. Reliable and set-piece king, Ward-Prowse, steps up, and you guessed it, smashed it top corner to get the point for his team. Despite the draw, Southampton are still 20th, but maybe this draw can spark something in the team with their upcoming fixtures. So let's see how they go. In terms of Spurs, still fourth, and for me, still in a good position to stake a claim in the top four. But with the manager pretty much calling out the club and the team as useless, brand it however you want to brand it, his days are numbered. So my question is, who should Spurs acquire as their next manager? Will it be a return for Pochettino, or can we see a new face in the league? Maybe a Luis Enrique or Frankfurt's Oliver Glasner? Or will they recruit within the Premier League? They've been linked with De Zerbi, and they've also linked with Brentford's Thomas Frank. So I think the strong rumor is for now, I should say when Conte gets dismissed, it will most likely be Ryan Mason managing the team until the end of the season. But let me know in the comments, who do you think should be the next Tottenham manager? Now, the next fixture, speaking of the top four race, Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle. Now, Newcastle got a crucial win over Forest, and it keeps their top four chances alive. It didn't start off well, to be fair. Forest took the lead in the 26th minute. Lovely chipped finish by Emmanuel Dennis, but Isaac had equalized just before halftime with a crazy volley finish with the outside of his foot. I'm a big fan of it. He's such a silky player. Great timing to equal the score there, but even better timing with the winner as Newcastle won a penalty in the 93rd minute. And from Nottingham Forest's point of view, what a poor one to concede. Blatant handball. Isaac steps up, smashes it in the top corner. Unfortunately, there was nothing much Keylor Navas could do. To be honest with you, I still can't believe Taylor Navas plays for Forest. It's such a random loan signing. But anyways, overall, a huge win for Newcastle. This puts them in 5th position with 47 points, 2 points behind Spurs with 2 games in hand. So if Newcastle can secure those 2 wins, honestly, I think it could be game over for the rest of the teams and the race for top 4, as it could be finalized long before the season ends. So maybe before May, they probably got that wrapped up. Their next coming fixtures are Manchester United at home, West Ham away, Brentford away, Villa away, Spurs at home, which is a big game, which could be a defining factor, Everton away, and Southampton at home. And these are all fixtures in April. So not as difficult as Liverpool's fixtures, but Newcastle, for me, could really make a charge and claim that top 4 race. If they get it this season, honestly, it's a wrap. They're going to shake it up in the summer ahead of schedule, in my opinion, as they probably had a plan to try and qualify for top 4 in like the next 2-3 years. Now, speaking as a Liverpool fan, it's a worrying time. I can't lie. If they get top 4, it'll be a long mountain for us to climb. Next fixture, Aston Villa versus Bournemouth. Just as I expected, Bournemouth were brought back to reality and Aston Villa were victorious in this fixture. First goal was great play by Leon Bailey, who cuts back a cross from the right-hand side, and Douglas Luiz has a tap-in to give Villa the opening goal. Bournemouth certainly applied pressure on Villa, with Solanke having a couple of shots on goal. Billing was also close to scoring with a free kick, but it was Jacob Ramsey who gets the important second goal. He showed a great turn of pace from the left wing, and then he skips past a couple players and got lucky with his shot, to say the least. But hey, I don't think he cares. They all count at the end of the day. And then Buendia gets the 3rd and final goal for Villa. Poor goal to concede, to say the least. Whipped corner from Douglas Luiz, and Buendia, who may be the shortest player on the pitch, gets in front of Neto and ball from the goalkeeper's line. Poor defending from the defenders, but also maybe the goalkeeper should have done a bit better there as well. Villa victorious, and onwards and upwards for them. Next game, Wolves versus Leeds United. So I predicted a Wolves win, and I got that prediction completely wrong. But what an important win for Leeds United. This move puts them out of the relegation zone. Goals from Harrison, Ayling, Christensen, who literally just came on off the bench and scored with his first touch, and Rodrigo getting the final goal in the latter stages. Wolves scored 2 goals in the game with Johnny and Cunha, but also conceded 2 red cards. The first was the right call, in my opinion. Dirty tackle from Johnny. And Nunes, an unused sub, gets a red card for his reaction after the last goal. So not a grey in the office for Wolves. Currently 13th, but I don't think they're getting the necessary points to avoid the drop. So it could be a sticky one for them. I can see them dropping off and being in a relegation battle, but a couple wins in the bounce could definitely change their fortune. Next fixture, Brentford versus Leicester City. So Leicester managed to secure a point and end their 5-game losing streak, which is unbelievable. For a team like Leicester, that shouldn't really be happening. But I think they may be disappointed not to get all 3 points, as they created a number of chances throughout the game, and most notably Patson Daka, but he wasn't able to convert, unfortunately. Brentford, on the other hand, they were the first to score with a deflected shot from Jensen. Keeper was beaten near post. For me, he should have done better. I'll give him the benefit of that because it was deflected, but it wasn't a powerful effort. So maybe being harsh there, but I think he should have done better. But it was Harvey Barnes to the rescue. He goes through on goal and applies a nice, slightly dinked finish over the keeper to get the point. So Leicester's next 3 fixtures are against Palace away, Villa at home, and Bournemouth at home as well. Hopefully, they get some points and climb up the table, because right now they're not doing really well. These are winnable games that could certainly change the outlook of their season. So that's my review of match week 28, all 7 games. If you watch my match preview, I did do predictions for each of these games. So how did I get along? So I didn't get any exact score lines, which is a shame, but I did manage to predict 2 wins correctly, and I also got 1 draw. So the 2 wins that I predicted were the Arsenal win, which I think goes without saying, everyone would have predicted that. I predicted a Spurs draw and also an Aston Villa win. So 3 out of 7 results, not too bad to say at least. But before we conclude the show, I'd like to announce the FPL Manager of the Week. Now, I had a terrible week in the FPL. I only got 20 points. But to my defense, I forgot to update my team. So I have a lot of making up to do in the next coming weeks. But in match week 28, the FPL Manager of the Week is Devi Rusmana, who plays for a team called Munding Jingrak. And he was able to get 98 points. So well done to Devi. Triple captain Saka, which was a masterstroke. That's why he got such a high score. So well done to you. I can see you're climbing up the table now. But yeah, so that concludes the show. Quick one today. So thank you for everyone for tuning in. Also got a comment here from True City Fan who says, here first. So thank you, True City Fan, for your comment. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Next show we'll be doing on Thursday at 10 p.m. As you know, it's International Week, so I won't be doing any previews for the Premier League. But I've decided to do some Liverpool content. As you know, I'm a Liverpool fan. So this episode will be my overview or my review of the squad. And I will label every player in terms of if we should keep them, sell them, or loan them. So make sure to hit that notification bell and you'll be notified when that show is happening. So as always, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very soon. Bye.